Should we fear designer babies from gene therapy advances? Imagine a future where parents can choose the genetic traits of their children before they are even born. Sounds like science fiction, right? But this is becoming more possible with advances in germline gene therapy. This technology allows scientists to edit the genes in eggs, sperm, or embryos, and these changes can be passed down to future generations. It's a powerful tool, but it also raises many questions about ethics and safety. First, it's important to understand what a designer baby really is. When scientists edit the genes of an embryo during in vitro fertilization, they can potentially select for desired traits. But there's a key difference between genetic screening and genetic modification. Screening looks for genetic diseases without changing the genes, while modification involves altering the DNA itself. Germline editing changes the genetic makeup of future children and their descendants, which makes it a much more serious ethical issue. Right now, the technology isn't considered safe enough for widespread use. Off-target effects can cause unintended genetic changes, and mosaicism means not all cells carry the edit. These risks could lead to health problems for the future child. Many countries have laws banning germline editing for reproductive purposes because of these safety concerns. In the United States, federal funding for such research is prohibited, and many other nations have similar restrictions. From an ethical perspective, several principles come into play. Beneficence and non-maleficence reminded us to maximize benefits and minimize harm. While editing genes to prevent serious diseases like cystic fibrosis seems beneficial, the unknown risks could cause harm that we can't yet predict. Autonomy and informed consent are also challenged because future generations cannot agree or refuse the genetic changes made today. This raises questions about making irreversible decisions for people who are not yet born. Justice and equity are major concerns too. These technologies could be expensive, making them accessible mainly to wealthy families or countries. This could deepen existing social inequalities and create a genetic divide between the privileged and the disadvantaged. There's also the risk of a new form of eugenics, where certain traits are favored over others, echoing troubling historical movements. Distinguishing between therapy and enhancement is critical. Using gene editing to treat serious genetic diseases aligns with traditional medical goals. But selecting for traits like height, intelligence, or appearance crosses into enhancement, which raises ethical questions about societal pressure and the value placed on certain human qualities. It could lead to a world where some children are seen as more desirable than others based on their genes. There's a tension between parental reproductive rights and the rights of the future child. Parents have the right to make decisions for their children, but making permanent genetic changes that the child cannot reverse might violate their right to an open future. This is a core debate in genetic and reproductive ethics. Governance and oversight are still evolving. The incident involving the scientist who created gene-edited babies in 2018 showed that current rules aren't enough. Stronger international guidelines and regulations are needed to prevent misuse and ensure safety. Society must decide how to balance innovation with responsibility. So, should we fear designer babies? Fear alone might hinder progress, but ignoring the ethical and safety concerns would be irresponsible. We need to proceed cautiously, with strict research, clear regulations, and ongoing public dialogue. It's not about rejecting the technology outright, but about making sure it's used ethically and safely. Society must carefully weigh the potential benefits against the risks and ensure that advances in gene therapy serve everyone fairly. The future of germline gene therapy holds promise, but it also demands our careful attention and thoughtful action.